This week has been so eventful, and we're here to give you all the tea. My name is Joyce Chooks.
I'm Juliet Innovai.
This is the Weekend Rundown. Let's go. This week saw some of the craziest things that have happened in a very long time, and they're trying to make sure that we cover as much as possible. And sometimes when we're in a great mood like we are today, we give you a bonus story. And our bonus story, it's actually quite light. Maybe you might not even care about it, but maybe you could. Now, everybody knows M.I. Abaga. I mean, you know, M.I. Abaga is that guy. He's been holding out the rap scene for a very long time. And sometime in 2015, he became the CEO of Chocolate City.
Yes.
2015 or 2013, I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, now we're hearing just that he has finally stepped down as the CEO of Chocolate City Music. Now, yeah, they just dropped the second part of the Mattel, or the second, what's the word I'm looking for? Second something of the Mattel cipher. And it was amazing, but people noticed that it was released under another name, not Chocolate City. And we've also heard that since the Warner Music deal that he apparently has, he has stepped down from Chocolate City, and there are speculations that Audi Mekori might come back. Breathe, take it all in. Personally, I love Adu Mekori. He did a great job when he, brought in MI and Ice Prince, the Chalk Boys. That was Adu Mekori's work, and I cannot wait to see more of that. Now we're going to move into the countdown properly, and I'm going to start with our number 10 story. So on number 10 this week, it's a continuation of the Busola Dakolo and Biodun Fatoyibo situation. Now, sometime this week, I believe it was on Monday, we got reports that a court summons has been sent out to Biodun Fatoyibo, and he has 14 days to reply and appear in court. Now, apparently what is being sought after by Busola and her prosecutors is an apology that is supposed to be published on national dailies for, claiming that she was lying about the allegation. What do you think?
Now, the thing is, because according to Busola, yeah, she said she only wants an apology, like a public apology. And now everybody is like going crazy over the fact that she actually just came out to say all of that, only to request for an apology. Couldn't you have done it privately or in a more subtle means? But I totally support I totally understand where she's coming from. Like that kind of thing, this is what happened to you, and you were afraid to speak up back then, and now you're speaking up. I don't know. I had always sensed that she just wanted an apology. Like, what more do you believe? Okay, she could want him to be brought to justice.
I think she wanted the people to know what was happening. I mean, she has a belief.
She's not just the only victim, but for her particularly, she just wanted an apology, which is totally good. But for me, I want him to be put to,
if he's found guilty. Anyways, this story has been unfolding for a while, and we're, watching to see how it goes. Now, moving on to our number 9 story, and Juliet Onovai has us covered with something I find quite troubling.
Well, Joyce, you might not find that troubling because you're really sensitive. For me, I'm sensitive, but this case is really, really funny. It's a case of staff brutality. Now, a Nigerian man earlier this week, he flogged his staff. Yes, I mean literally flogged his staff for, guess what? Exhausting the data subscription on watching porn.
Bluefin. He finished the company data with Bluefin.
That with a straight face.
I was really offended, actually. I was offended on every part. I hate the fact that when Nigerians find themselves in a very small place of power, they want to exert it and behave like animals, and then we act like our government is doing. If you find a staff that is erring, if the person did something criminal, you arrest them. If they don't do something criminal, you don't love it, you ask them to leave. You have the option of firing the person. You cannot brutalize a person because of Bluefin. Yourself.
I feel like
after you finish, you put data on the company.
Now let's look at it from the perspective of it, like the entire compound's Wi-Fi, and this particular staff is probably a gate man. They didn't really tell us his particular.
Just imagine that the person is using Glow, and 10K for Glow is about 60 gig.
Now I see what the man is coming from.
For 20 gig, I don't know why it It's actually quite much. It's around that 30K because 5K is like, I don't know, 15. So you're not, bros. Anyways, we're going to move on to our number 8 story for this week, and it's something quite we might not be able to relate, except for queer people in our society. Now, when we've been known that with the LGBTQ movement going as further as it can, people have come out as whatever it is they want to be addressed. For example, here in Nigeria, we have Bobrisky, who we know to be born male, referring to herself as a woman and asking Tani bro, who is your bro? I'm a girl. I'm a pretty princess. A shea barrist. But, you know, we're moving on to Sam Smith. So, Sam Smith came out as gender non-binary. Now, if you're not really accustomed to what it means, gender non-binary means that you are neither a man or woman. You do not move to be masculine. You do not move to be feminine. Instead, you just accept.
You're just neutral.
Yes, you're neutral. You accept different parts of different genders. So he says he's going to be referred to as they or them, not he or his.
Now my problem with this is, why would any human being, any logical human being want to be referred to as they?
It's a pronoun. That's the pronoun they want to be referred to as. So next time Sam Smith drops an album, we say, wow, they just dropped a fire album. Their albums just went to #1 on Billboard Hot 100. They look fabulous in that pair of jeans.
Now that is ridiculous.
That's how he wants to be. You know, no judgment over there. I totally believe in the LGBTQ movement, and if that's what you want to do with yourself, you have my support. You're an amazing musician, and please stay with me. Now we're moving on to the number 7 story, and it's also very troubling. And if you guys have noticed, Juliet claims to be the sensitive one, but she's the one giving all the
Joyce.
Scary news. Juliet.
Okay, this news is not really so hilarious. It is really terrible. Now, a 20-year-old earlier this week, he first of all rapes and then kills his 35-year-old love interest. Now, he claimed that he initially went to her place to celebrate her baby naming ceremony, something like that, and then it was just forced. He had the urge to rape her, not just rape her. In the process, she beat his finger. So with that annoyance, he just used a wooden stool to hit her on the head, and she died. Now, the incident was actually reported by the motorcyclist who conveyed him to the place, but was suspicious, especially after going back to the place. Saw he realized
assailant.
Yeah, that's the assailant. He had a small cut on his finger, and that got the motorcyclist suspicious, and so he had to go and report the case to the police station. And he was, yeah. I just
hope he's a very poor man, because I've noticed that in Nigeria, in Nigeria it is easier to get justice if the person is poor. If it's a rich person, he could easily pay off the people that are involved.
Now that is a really
it is so shameful. I mean, if I was in a developed country, irrespective if the person was a president, a senator, a bricklayer, you would be sure that to some extent justice might prevail. But now you have a problem with the person and you're thinking, oh, I hope I'm richer than the person, because if I am richer than the person, I could actually do something about it. There's a story that I saw on Twitter yesterday, and while it was quite funny, it just showed me something really weird. Now, a guy had an altercation with his Uber or Taxify driver, one of the two. It was something about getting the guy to describe the location, and it was for a long time, and then they got in an argument, and then the guy told the Taxify driver, don't be stupid. Taxify driver sent several messages of insults and threats and several things, and the guy got him arrested, and the Taxify driver had to issue an apology. Now, let's say the guy did not have the connect to get him arrested. Would anything have happened?
The thing is that the sad reality of what you just said is that it's actually true. In Nigeria, anything goes when you're rich. If the person in this case now was like a rich person, this case would easily...
Do you get? And this is murder. This is manslaughter. It is, I don't even know what to say. We need to move to a place where men do not feel entitled to women's bodies. Whether she's your wife, your girlfriend, a random woman on the street, you have no right to a woman's body. It is not yours. You cannot force a woman to give you her body, irrespective of your relationship. And I really, really pray that justice is going to prevail. Now, moving into our number 6 story for this week, it is good news if you're trying to emigrate from Nigeria and you're not going to South Africa or the United States of America. Now, if you're going to the UK, I have great news for you. Now, when Theresa May became the UK Prime Minister, she abolished the law that allowed immigrants to stay in the country 2 years after graduation from school and made it just 4 months. But thankfully, to the god of jollof rice, Boris Johnson became, no, jollof rice is base for Nigeria. Boris Johnson has become the new Prime Minister after Theresa May could not deliver Brexit. And he has reinstated the 2 years provided to immigrants to stay in the country after graduation from a UK institution to search for and find work. That is exciting.
It is really amazing. Now, this is a really good time to go to the UK in case you've been planning on it. So, carry on. Yeah,
but you have to go as a student, okay? You have to have graduated from a university in the United Kingdom. But seriously, it's a small price to pay. So if you're looking to emigrate, now is your chance. We're going to go on a very short break, and when we come back, we'll give you the top 5 stories for this week's Stay There. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I don't know if you know that song. No, you see, I've not sung something else. It's a song that this guy, his name is Maze, he's an artist from way back when. He left music to go and be a pastor. And then he stopped being a pastor and came back. So when he came back, he dropped the song, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Anyways, that is the song that we are singing to our brothers and our sisters that just came in from South Africa. Now, there's been videos online showing Nigerian brothers that have been returning in batches from South Africa since on Wednesday, right? Since on Wednesday. Now, we're really grateful to Air Peace. He has come, the owner of Air Peace has given his airplanes for free to transport Nigerians that are coming from South Africa to Nigeria as a result of xenophobic attacks. Now, there are a lot of videos of people speaking about how they felt, having come back. A lot of them shared stories of having lost everything, except all they came back was the clothes on their backs.
Yes.
And they were singing, what was it?
Oh, my home, oh, my home, when shall I see? That was why they were at the airports. You could see the excitement.
It was beautiful.
I've never seen Nigerians so excited to come back to Nigeria.
When your only other option is death in a foreign land. We just hope that something is really done about xenophobic attacks on Nigerians and other internationals in South Africa. And then basically every other country where we find Nigerians, Ghanaians, the United States, there seems to be a conscious effort to push Nigerians out of these countries because they're excelling. I saw a tweet yesterday where a girl was saying that in a Harvard class, I can't really put the exact words, but that in the department, all the people in the class plus the dean in Harvard were all Nigerians. And then you could see African Americans in the comment section saying the Nigerians are stealing their spots. In Harvard, do you know how brilliant you have to be to get into Harvard? 1. 2, do you know how difficult it is for a Nigerian to get a US visa? So you can tell me that I'm putting in that much work. You know how if you do IELTS, they will deny you like 74 million times, first of all. And then you finally get it, and somebody tell you that you are stealing their spots.
Well, they worked for it.
Like, I mean, you're telling me that we are hated because we are excelling?
The thing is, I feel like they are using this whole charade of Nigerians being scammers as a cover-up for the great things Nigerians are actually doing worldwide. Nigerians are doing really good things.
Nigerians are survivors, okay? The thing is that when you think about the fact that you're going back home and you might not return to anything, you are going to work your butt off. No Nigerian wants to go abroad and come back and say, wow, I know character. Do you understand? So whenever we find ourselves in spaces where we can actually excel, we put in our best work. I think it is immensely insane for people to assume that we are getting things handed to us. We never actually get things handed to us. You only have to work quadruple times than the other guy to get the exact same opportunity. But let me not get into my feelings. It's been a very tough week for Nigerians. Now moving into our number 4 story, Juliet is going to have us covered on that one because once again, she loves gruesome stories.
I do not love gruesome stories. Okay, this story is a case of a carpenter who commits suicide over his wife's infidelity. Now they've been married for 12 years, and it was earlier this week. He was found dead in his room. He hung himself
because his wife was allegedly cheating.
His wife cheated on him.
I mean, there's so much to unpack from this. It's crazy because I mean, when you don't really have a lot of money, and you just have your wife, your partner to help you with, and then you're struggling in this very hard, country, and then you find out that the one person that you're committed to is not committed to you. It does things to you.
Although I feel like him committing suicide is not just because of his wife's infidelity.
Yeah,
it could be like a piled up.
And that was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
True.
I feel so bad for him. I hope that his family finds fortitude in this tough period. I hope the woman survives it.
I actually leave that self.
Do you understand? Just going into the world knowing that somebody killed themselves and you could have been the reason. It's not something I want anyone to have to live with. So I hope that everybody involved find some way to comfort themselves in these very trying times. Now, moving into our number 3 story, I believe. Congratulations are in order for our President-elect, Muhammadu Buhari. He came out on top and the winner of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. Now, we know that Atiku has been trying to contest the recently held general elections in Nigeria. He started off by saying that a lot of the votes were inflated, to which INEC responded by saying that they could not provide the card readers and scanners because there was no servers, which is another story because so much money was apparently allocated for said server. Anyways, he came in through the direction of saying that the president has been unable to provide his secondary school leaving certificate. Well, the tribunal has ruled that Buhari's certificate from the Nigerian military is superior to any secondary school certificate. And you need to have a master's to get a job for 50K. But you know, this is Nigeria. Now let's move into our number 2 story for this. And this one is not from Nigeria, thankfully, but it is very, very gruesome. And because I love Juliet, I'll allow her just have peace. And let me say this one. So apparently in 2017, a high school former cheerleader buried her newborn baby in the backyard of her house and texted her mother saying that she can finally have her body back. Now, the case has been in court since that time till now, and this week she was acquitted of murder. Her defense says that she didn't kill the baby, that the baby was a stillborn, and she only buried the baby. So she was found guilty of tampering with a corpse and not murder or killing her own child, even though there was evidence that she boasted about the baby's death, saying that she can finally have her perfect life back. Yes, she's white.
Okay, first of all, if you know you did not want to have the child in the first place, if you know you want to keep your perfect body, your perfect figure, why did you have the baby? There were like so many, you had options.
Well, you know, even in the United States where this happened, there's a lot of people battling the abortion laws. So maybe she just didn't want to have the baby. Exactly. And the reason why I even mentioned that she was white, because there's a lot of speculation on social media saying that if she was a black woman, she would have been sleeping in jail right now in maximum security, not even the minimum security prisons. They're saying that this is white privilege all over again.
It is. It totally is.
You heard the babe. It is. Okay, so for our final story at number 1, let's just say that if you and I are not agreeing on a couple of things, maybe we should not come and throw that thing in my face, because this is how this man felt about his friend coming to celebrate Buhari's success at the tribunal at his own beer parlor in Warri. Now, apparently, these two guys are friends. One of them, Best, the person that got assaulted, is an APC supporter, and his friend Elvis was a staunch PDP supporter. Now, while Buhari came out very, very successful at the tribunal, this young man went to celebrate at his friend's beer parlor, and his friend did not find it very interesting. So, while an argument ensued between the both of them, the friend picked up a bottle, broke the bottle. I'm sorry for being Raz. You're shukan. Many places. I'm using my Benin girl pidgin accent. You're shukan for everywhere. So yeah, I feel like that was just way too violent. A way to react to. I mean, we all get that the country is hard and there's economic depression, but I mean, that is still your friend, kind of, sort of, or a human being.
I don't think they were ever friends. For you to pick up a bottle to stab a human being at all, because the person is a supporter of what you're not supporting, that person, you can't claim that person isn't your friend in the first place.
It's a crime of passion. Can't you say it's a crime of passion?
It's crazy.
He was passionate about Nigeria, his friend was passionate about Buhari, and, you know, passion clashed. And this is our last story for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be here again next week, Saturday, giving you a breakdown of the craziest stories that happened this past week. But from number 10 to number 1, these are the stories that we had, and I'm going to read it out because I've not eaten this morning, so I can't really remember. At number 10, we have the Busola Dakolo situation, and she is requesting an apology from the pastor Biodun Fatoyinbo, who she accused of alleged rape. At number 9, we have that very gruesome story that you told.
Yeah, the Nigerian man that flocks his staff for...
I did not love that story.
Finishing death as subscription on porn.
I still don't love it. At number 8, we have Sam Smith coming out as a gender non-binary and announcing his pronouns as they and them. At number 7, we have the man that raped and killed his love interest on her baby's naming ceremony. The baby is even who I'm thinking about right now. At number 6, Boris Johnson, the UK Prime Minister, have announced that you can stay in the United Kingdom 2 years after school to search for a job as an immigrant. At number 5, we have our Nigerians being celebrated for coming back home after facing xenophobic attacks in South Africa. Number 4, Carpenter killed himself over his wife's infidelity. Number 3, congratulations for Muhammadu Buhari for coming out successful at the election tribunal. Number 2, we have a girl in Ohio that buried her baby that has been acquitted of murder. And finally, the neighbor that stabbed his friend over his celebration of Buhari's success. Next week, we'll bring you another array of crazy stories. My name is George Chooks, the love of my life.
Juliet Onavai, I'm the love of your life.
Yes! We'll see you next week.
Stay connected to TSL Nigeria and get updates on the go all day, every day. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on TSL Nigeria Space TV and join our online family.